Hey guys, welcome to the Centre Bounce. In today's video, we're doing our tips and our captains for round 14, the guys that you need to pick for your Supercoach teams. So stay tuned. Go, mates. It's round 14. I can't believe it. 10 weeks of Supercoach to go. Almost feels like the opposite way of the preseason. I remember when we had 10 weeks till the season started. Now we've got 10 weeks till it's finishing, mate.
Yeah, I know. It's been a long season and a short time at the halfway almost through the entire home and away season. Kind of crazy how quickly it's gone by. At the same time, so much shit has happened. It's ridiculous. But hey, we've been through it all, highs and lows, and we're going to be talking about the specific games this week, starting off with, of course, the Brisbane Lions hosting the St Kilda Saints Friday night football at the Gabatoir. A lot of changes for one team, no changes for the other.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, right? I kind of thought about this off air, and it's really a game of two sides of the same coin. Both teams trying to make finals, both teams currently not in the top 8, and both teams, I think, that were in the finals last year, right? Obviously, Brisbane, I think, were grand finalists from my memory.
Yes.
September last year was so far away, and they've got no changes. And St Kilda, I don't know, mate. They've got a few going on there.
Absolutely, and it just goes to show a bit more turmoil, I think, at St Kilda but they managed to win 2 games in a row, so that's really trying to resuscitate their season. Some really dour wins, low scoring affairs, just trying to stranglehold the opposition. And they're going to try and do that to Brisbane. They're going to try and send none other than Marcus Winhager, their go-to tagging man, to try and probably go. You would imagine he's going to Lachie Neale after the sort of the vein of form that this guy has been in over there at Brisbane Lions, to try and limit their scoring. If the Saints can try and limit their scores to under 70 points, then they're in it to their eyeballs. But I personally don't think they'll be able to do it. The Brisbane Lions at the Gabba are a different task altogether, and I'm going to back the Lions to win by 17 odd points.
Yeah, I've definitely backed the Lions. We did our tips before, but kind of going through these again today. And, mate, as you say, it's not the first 5 rounds of the AFL season, Joe. It's now round 14. The Brisbane at home, they've shaken off the cobwebs, and another beast at home as well. So, yeah, definitely tipping the Brisbane Lions there. I think Winhager is going to be a tough one, whatever player he goes on. And who's your captaincy for this week? Sorry, anyone in this game that could be vice-captain or captain for you?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, mate. You got to come down here to the designated kickers. There is one team above all other teams that gives up a double-digit score in the designated kicker. It is, of course, St Kilda, and you are absolutely licking your lips if you are a Dane Zorko owner. He is also, just happens to be the very first game. Nothing better than getting your VC in with a 150-odd score on the Friday night, just to ease yourself into the weekend and feel good about yourself. Dane Zorko, absolutely.
Definitely. I mean, we talk a lot about Thursday and Friday night games not having good vice-captains or captains, but if you're chasing a Dane Zorko score for the rest of the week, mate, you're going to be doing some crazy stuff to try and get ahead of the pack there.
Yeah, 100%. He is absolutely the go-to. When you're looking at the inside mids, both of these teams are pretty tough. St Kilda, almost, I suppose, in terms of the middle of the rung here, really, in terms of giving up scores. Of course, however, we are a little bit worried where Marcus Winhager is going to go. Whilst they are a favourable matchup only slightly for inside mids, Marcus Winhager could very well just go on to either Dunkley or a Neale. Most likely Neale. And if you're a Neale owner, hard to recommend going with him when Winhager tagged the absolute living daylight out of his opponent. So probably wouldn't go with an inside mid in one of these games.
Yes. Yeah, no, I think so as well. Big Oscar. We had a look on stream. There's like 1,000. I think there's 6 people in the top 1% that own
10%.
Oscar McInerney.
10%.
Sorry,
6
top
people.
10%. So if you're one of those 6 people, congratulations. You can bring him in. You can put him as vice captain, and hopefully he gives you a big score. I don't know what's up with Ron Marshall. I think it's just like, I wonder if all of those scores, because St Kilda only play 1 ruck. So I wonder if the plus 28 is the scores they get when he isn't rucking. Maybe that's kind of how it works. It's like, you can't beat Ron Marshall, but if you only rucks 50%, the other percent, you're getting everything. So maybe that's kind of what it is.
Yeah, no, he's Rowan Marshmallow. He is a marshmallow. So we're leading with the Lions, and if you have Zorko, you're living life to the fullest. Congratulations. Next game, Saturday afternoon, 1:45. The Western Bulldogs hosting the Fremantle Dockers at Marvel Stadium. A few changes here that have, I suppose, rocked a few people in terms of the rookies. Riley Garcia being omitted and Lockie McNeil also being omitted. Where do you see this game going?
Oh, yeah, and congratulations to you if you're one of those people that end up holding Ed Richards as well. So, I know a few people brought him in and kind of had suffered the last 2 weeks. It's a real tough game. The Bulldogs are on a knife edge, and, Freo are coasting through. They're winning games left, right, and centre. Luke Ryan's going bananas, but the Bulldogs are just in a bit of strife. Every week there seems to be injuries. One head knock to liver, he's out. Richards sneeze and he's out as well. And, Aaron Norton being out for the whole season as well. So, I don't know. I think we had picked Freo, and I think Freo's the right way. But the punters don't have Freo. The punters currently have the Bulldogs at 65% win.
Look, I'm going to go against those guys. I'm going to go with Fremantle. I do think we saw last week the lack of firepower in the forward line to help out Jamaro Ugle-Hagan, really playing a lone hand as a key forward target without Darcy and without Norton. All of a sudden, the forward line just looks a lot less potent. And for a pretty solid defensive unit over there at Fremantle, they are defensively minded. They defend first and attack second. And that is the sort of way that you really want to. It's defense that wins premierships, and they really got a great defensive profile with an ability to bounce off halfback. So I just think that Fremantle, with its team currently as it stands compared to the Bulldogs, plus they're in a great run of form, I'm going to go with Freo to win this game. Luke Ryan to go absolutely bananas, intercepting, taking kick-ins, doing all that degenerate stuff that we know and love from him. So I'm going to go with the Fremantle Dockers on this one.
Yeah, no, that's who I've picked as well. Hopefully Luke Ryan. I mean, if you don't have Zorko, Luke Ryan's a decent enough captain. But who leaks the points in this game, Joe?
Well, looking here, again, when we go to the designated kickers, Western Bulldogs ranking 6th in terms of, is that the Western Bulldogs or the Giants?
GWS above it.
That's the GWS. Sorry, they're above them. They're 5th, 69 percent for Luke Ryan. So he's going to be in for a good time if you've got Luke Ryan, if you've got Jordan Clark potentially. But you would probably lean towards Luke Ryan, Mr. Peroxide Prince of Perth, if you don't mind. So
he's pretty safe.
He's quite safe, absolutely. From the other side, the Fremantle Dockers themselves also concede quite a few points just directly above them. So if you've got a Bailey Dale, he could potentially go really well depending on the role that Ed Richards has to play. If Ed Richards is playing in the midfield, then Bailey Dale is going to go bananas. If Ed Richards is going to play off halfback, then it will eat into Bailey Dale's scores. However, we've seen in the past, recent history, that Bevo really likes him around the ball. So Bailey Dale could be a very sneaky left field selection.
Yeah, 100% there. I mean, they're a little bit of a pod pick, but Bailey Dale, mate, played St Kilda, went massive, and now potentially the same thing against Freo as well.
Exactly. Inside mids, so if you're looking at a Bontempelli type or if you're looking at a Sarong type, things like that, they're pretty popular ownership among high rankers. Looking here, Western Bulldogs, where are they? Look at that. Tough matchup all the way down here, as are Fremantle. Also tough matchups for inside mids in the last 5. Both quite good at restricting each other. But that doesn't stop Sarong from being a potential.
If you Go back, I just noticed something. There is a certain ruckman that might have an okay game this week. If you go have a look at Freo give up a lot of points to rucks. It's not as much as Port Adelaide or St Kilda or Geelong for that matter, but mate, Freo and rucks, Joe. Team English, are we going to see a good game this week?
Well, fingers crossed for our Supercoach scoring. That would be very good, but it will take a brave man in order to go with English in VC. But we're talking about inside mids, both very difficult to score against. Well, look at the last three for Caleb Sarong. He's gone a 130, a 138, and a 140 in his last three against the Bulldogs. He's going to be fresh coming off of the bye, whereas the Bulldogs are limping towards the bye. Bontempelli training away from the main group for the two main training sessions with an illness. Obviously not an ideal preparation coming into this game. Could it be Sarong who's going to be the shining light? He is also a potential left field selection for a C or a VC this week.
Yeah, definitely. Now, next game up, we have Richmond versus Hawthorn, and it was supposed to be Dustin Martin's 300th last week, but he said, no, thank you. I'm not going to play away from the MCG. and now he's in this game here. Nice to see Lloyd Meek back. Ned Reeds has been great, but bit of copped an injury last week, so it kind of sucks there. Lloyd Meek over his syndesmosis. I think a little bit quicker than maybe what we had thought, right?
Yeah, a little bit. It's come a bit of a surprise, but hey, with Ned Reeves down, the Hawks are like, hurry up, get back into it.
Definitely. So in this game, me and you are a little bit divided. I think we both picked Richmond. There's no real captaincy options here. Will Day could be big. He could be a big one. I'm expecting a half-decent game from Dylan Moore as well, but maybe not someone you want to captain or an obvious captain. I'm swayed a little bit towards Hawthorn, but we both kind of think Dustin Martin's going to pull one out of nowhere, right? And win them the game.
Yeah, he's been refreshed. He loves the big moments. He loves the big games. We've seen him be Mr. Grand Final time after time, willing his team over the line. So this is right up his alley. It's all in celebration of him. He's got his good mate, Tom Lynch, coming back into the side. Obviously, one of the best forwards in the comp when he is fit and firing. The question, is he fit and firing, though, is a big one. So we'll see. But you can just imagine the noise every time he gets around it. It's going to be hard, I think, to not get swept up in the emotion of the night. And I'm a young team, young Hawthorn team. They've always been underdogs coming into games in recent times. This time, they're not going to be coming in as underdogs. This time, they're coming in really knowing this game is not Richmond versus Hawthorn. This game is Dusty's 300th. And that's the dominating message out of everything. If the Hawks can steady their nerve, can focus on the game, get the job done, then they probably can. But I'm still going to lead with the fairy tale. I'm going to go with Richmond here just for Dusty. The boy's going to lift. They got to lift, surely.
I'm picturing a big game from Ginnivan. I think he's going to be like, hey, take it up. And every time Dusty gets the ball, he's going to run in and try and tackle him. And, big game player for the next generation. So, yeah, I think Richmond's going to win, but it's definitely going to be a close one. Dusty, probably 3+ goals if you are a betting man there.
There you go. There's your tip. All right. Looking at the potential scores, we did speak about Will Day. I reckon that's a great shout. If you're a Will Day owner, could do really well. Someone who I think could also do absolutely wonderful is, of course, Richmond suck. They are the second worst when it comes to conceding scores to the designated kicker. And James Sicily could be, if you own Sicily, I recommend that you decide, you know what, we're going to go balls to the wall. If anyone can stand up to the noise and jeers and cries of the fans, it is Sicily. And a lot of teams have been going big. A lot of intercept markers have been going big against Richmond. And I think Sicily, with GF in the side, he's been freed up. He's playing intercept marking. He's having a very good role to play. I can see Sick Dog going bonkers in this game. He is my left field selection for this game.
Nah, not for me. I think there's better players later on. Maybe if you've fumbled the captaincy or vice captaincy in the first Well, not captaincy, obviously, but vice captaincy in the first 2 games potentially. But
I'm saying for this game, he's my left field
yeah,
selection. But I can totally see.
you could also go Darcy Moore. I mean, like, sorry,
Dylan
not
Moore.
I said Darcy Moore again. Watch out, boys and girls. I'm off my rocker. I'm just looking at that plus 13.3% for general forwards against Richmond, and mate, it looks half decent there. So yeah, if you've got the Morster and Richmond's defense is not doing that well, maybe a good shout there.
There you go, good shout there. Moving to the next game, the Crows. Oh, geez, where can we go with these guys? Hosting the Sydney Swans at Adelaide Oval. It doesn't matter where they played. If they played at Adelaide or in Sydney or on Mars or even in my backyard, I can't see Adelaide beating the Sydney Swans. This Sydney Swans team is just an absolute juggernaut. They could be playing underwater and they still be and they're drowned before the Sydney Swans, because the Sydney Swans, they're just absolutely killing it. Their trio of Heaney, Warner, Goulden is probably the best trio that we have seen in the last decade. It is ridiculous.
I mean, we've always been teased by how good Heaney's been, and with Parker out and potentially Adams as well for such a long time, like these are 2 players that you thought maybe would like do a lot for them and actually hurt them, but no, the young guys, the mature age players have just come in, started to dominate. Well, I mean, Adams is playing this week, you know what I mean? But yeah, both of them not there. That's great, Joe. Bloody hell.
They're missing Mills as well. They've still got Callum Mills to come back into the side. What the hell? It's ridiculous. So it's the Swans very comfortably in this game.
Like number 1 versus like number 13 or something on the ladder. So yeah, they're going to get slapped. Anyone who would be a half decent vice captain or captain, it is Saturday late game. So it's coming to that captaincy territory there.
Yeah, so if you've got a Grundy type, Adelaide's got Strawn in the ruck. So don't look at this and be afraid of it, because this has substantially been influenced by Riley O'Brien being in the ruck. Riley O'Brien is not playing this week. It's going to be Grundy versus Strawn. So that's a pretty juicy matchup.
Yep. No, Grundy's on fire, mate. It's yeah. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Grundy vice captain. Is there anyone else that might be an okay fit? I'm just looking at Adelaide. Wing defenders. I'm not sure if there's anyone there from Sydney. Probably not, right?
Errol Goulden potentially could do really well if you've got Errol. He plays a bit on a wing, so Errol Goulden could do really well on that front. And
then does Sydney lose against anything? I'm just trying to see. Okay, so if you're a wing defender against Sydney, if you kind of play defense versus Sydney, you're going to do okay. I'm not sure where Jordan Dawson's going to line up on the weekend, but he might just cop the James Jordan tag, to be honest. So yeah, sucked in there, I suppose.
Either him or Rankin, one of them is going to cop him. So yeah, it's just going to go from bad to worse for Adelaide this week, is all we have to say. All right. Then Sunday, these are extended lists, of course.
Yep.
So doesn't matter though who you name. You could name Glenn Archer, and I'm still going to tip Collingwood to beat you guys this week.
Yeah, I think so. It's I didn't tip North Melbourne against West Coast last week, and it hurt me. Obviously, getting the win was fantastic, but yeah, I think Collingwood's the straight shooter here. The team's just too good, and we're just too young. Give it a couple of years, and we'll be a lot more competitive. Looking at the teams, I think North Melbourne might not have a lot of changes, but if we go and have a look at actually who's going to be out. Yeah, let's quickly pull it up, Joe. Sorry, let's pull up the matchups and we'll see if anyone's going to be a good fit.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking about who's going to be out of the team.
No. Let me see. North Melbourne. Let's do North first. So if you're a Collingwood person. Now, North Melbourne's midfield has actually been doing well. And the ruck, Tristan Cherry's a bit of a beast, Joe. Like, if you're an opposition ruckman, no one's got Darcy Cameron in their team, but if you're an opposition ruckman, you're not scoring that well against him this season.
No. But if you're a Cherry owner, you might want to go with him against, where is he? Over here. Great matchup for Tristan Cherry against Darcy Cameron. Could do pretty well. Not too bad. Designated kickers. So Fisher could do pretty well. Shazel could do pretty well.
Like, if you've got Nick Dacos, are you going to captain him this week?
No, not with that shin problem.
No. And like -13 as well. So if you just scroll over to the right-hand side, Collingwood are not, Dacos is not going to score that well against North Melbourne, surprisingly. So yeah, I thought they might, but stats do not lie. If you've got a Collingwood forward, potentially, but I don't think anyone's picking them in their Supercoach team.
No. So definitely going to be leaning towards not I'm not really going to have anyone from this. I think Collingwood win for sure. We then go to the Giants hosting Port Adelaide at NG Stadium. So this is the Giants' home ground. The Giants have been pretty hit or miss, really. And a bit of a surprise packet how disappointing they have been in recent times. Probably shouldn't have lost to the Hawks last week. Disappointing loss for them, but for some reason, I just can't help myself. I keep finding myself tipping them to win a game. And they keep letting me down, but it might just be Stockholm syndrome. Like, I just keep picking this bloody orange team. And I'm tipping them again this week.
We're thinking it's like round 3 or 4 and they're just slashing everyone. Not, coming up to round 9 where they start losing games. Now, Port are going to be a stronger team because of Connor Rosie in there, because of kind of a few of the players coming through. They do miss a key cog in that team, and that is Charlie Dixon. So it's up to your Buckleys, it's up to your Lee Colliers, your Nick Haynes, your Sam Taylors to stop the Ollie Lord. If you can nullify that full forward position for Port Adelaide, the guy that will second ruck, doing those kind of things, you might get on to a win there. So I've picked GWS, you've picked GWS. Currently, I've still got Tom Green in my team with his monster high 121 break even. So there's potential he scores okay this week, but yeah, I'm not keen on it.
121's not that monstrous, to be honest.
Yeah, but Tom Green can barely score an 80. So it's got
to be score one. He'll beat his break even this week.
You reckon?
I reckon. Against inside mids, how are Port faring? Port are pretty good of a matchup. All right. Yep. I might have to retract my comment. Stuff this crap. I hate you. Who else is going to do pretty well? Where do the Giants do?
I was going to say there's a certain wing half-back player that we've both got in our team, Joe, that is plus 16, 75% extra score against Port Adelaide. Can you pick out who it is?
Against Port Adelaide?
Yeah.
A wing defender? No.
Who plays that position that we both have in our team?
No one plays wing defender for our teams.
Does Lockie Whitfield not play wing defender?
I don't think he plays on a wing. I think he's more.
He plays half back defender. That's enough.
Yeah, I think he's more of this type of player, more so than this type of player.
Maybe we'll see. I was trying to bring up Lockie Whitfield.
Whitfield's
my bubble, Joe.
Whitfield, you're a freaking fraud. Hurry up and get the ball in your hands and stop turning it over. And
it's a really good game if you've got either Briggs or Soldo in your team. I'm not sure what the ownership things are because both of them give up a lot of points to each other. So it's going to be a fun game if you own either of them.
Look, GWS, they give up points. GWS give up points to halfback. So it's only a little bit. It's almost it's basically negligible. All we can hope and pray is that Kingsley's comments about giving the ball to Whitfield more actually pans out. I wouldn't VC or see anybody in this game.
No,
I think
hopefully your VCs and Cs are spent by that time.
Correct. Because what I'm doing this week is I'm going to be doing Dane Mother Flippin' Zorko into Luke Ryan. Those are my VCs and Cs this week.
Yep. I will probably do something similar.
Very good. Very nice. Simple. Easy.
Guys, that's our vice captain and captain. So just kind of running through there. Zorko, really good vice captain. Probably no one from St Kilda. English might score quite well against Freo. We've got Luke Ryan as well off the halfback. Potentially a Jordan Clark as well if you want to bring someone like that in. Richmond, Joe reckons Sicily might score well. Potentially a Dylan Moore. I know you guys were going to say Darcy Moore, but I didn't do it this time. Dustin Martin, if you've got him in your team, he's going to score 300 on his 300th, but it happens. No one really from Adelaide. Sydney are a pretty dominant team, but if you've got Brodie Grundy, You know, Joe and I don't have him. We started him. He's going to be a lock, basically, for a captaincy score. That's going to be quite good, unless he gets injured. North Melbourne, no one really. Both sides nullifying each other a little bit. Yeah, that's basically it. And then GWS versus Port Adelaide. You know, I don't know who you're going to pick from this game. So try and use your vice captain and captaincy by Saturday, probably in the first 3 games. If you don't have a Zorko, chuck it on someone else, because in the back half of this weekend, there's no one really on offer there.
And there you have it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, hit a like button, subscribe if you're new, and hit that notification bell to make sure that you don't miss out on any of our live streams and videos that we pump out. This, of course, you're watching this video, but we are live every Monday at 7:30 p.m. as well as on Thursdays at 5:30 p.m. for the drive home. We hope to see you in them.
Guys, here at the Centre Bounce, we do the hard work, so you guys don't have to. Bye for now.